Just right back, Charlie.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian.
There's always just that active red light, defending. I think it's like.
Liverpool and Arsenal slammed by the Premier League over their VAR moans, but Chief admits that the system is broken and experience for fans in the stadium is dreadful. I mean, before we get into it, let's have some manners. People, deluded, I'm back again. Top of the morning to you, like the Irish would say. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night. To my long-term supporters, appreciative to have you back here. If you're new here, you know you need to hit the sub button. Everyone do me a favor and get the creative juices flowing. Please comment and let me know your thoughts on everything we discuss. You see the title, we'll go over everything. And make sure you're hitting the like button, you're commenting, you're subscribing, all that good stuff. Now, Liverpool and Arsenal fans, I think this is elite gaslighting. Before I even read what has been said, just on the paragraph that I read just before I greeted you lot. Arsenal and Liverpool have been done dirty. Well, I can't really talk for Liverpool, but it does seem like decisions go against them as well. I'm sure every Premier League team has had it against them. I'm sure at best you just have to hope that it evens itself out. It's elite gaslighting. You know, if you're doing the wrong things, if the implementation of the system that was meant to make the game better is not doing that, then with the pressures and everything that is at stake in what both teams are trying to accomplish, you know, what both sets of teams are trying to accomplish week to week, long term in their seasons and things like that, how can you be angry that they've shown their discontent? Control the controllables. You know, Arsenal and Liverpool and anyone else who's been done dirty by VAR, if you play good or you play bad or the system or players make mistakes, those are variables you can control. What you can't account for is dodgy decisions. And I wouldn't say the system's broken because, you know, you even look at how AFCON's been used in how VAR has been used in AFCON. It's been quite good in comparison to the Premier League. When you look at the managers, you know, when you look at, I hate to refer to football as a business, but it is. When you look at the TV rights that the Premier League has, the money that all of these clubs have, the money that the Premier League, the brand, the league is making, because this is their like the head honchos. When you look at all of that, and the best league in the world, best players in the world, all of that jazz, and you band it under an entertainment product, people. And we're in a land now where Bournemouth went toe-to-toe with AC Milan last season for a signing. It didn't work out for them, but they didn't lose that because of money. When you consider all of that, and you consider how smart these guys are and things like that, is the system broken or is it working how they want? Because me personally, don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I personally think, you know, it's intentional with how they implement VAR. I think there's nothing wrong with VAR personally. VAR in principle is a good project. It's how, you know, the human element or how it's been implemented or how it's practiced in the Premier League. And I don't believe that is a coincidence. I think it's there because it adds to the entertainment product of the Premier League with the dodgy moments. You know, if something dodgy happens, you know, the inconsistencies with refereeing, it gets the pundits speaking, it gets TV shows speaking, the radios, the fans. It adds to what the Premier League is, people. And of course, it's dreadful for fans because, you know, you're in the stadium and you're bewildered as to what is going on, really and truly, in that regards. I say that VAR is quite crazy. Big up to my Nigerians in particular because, you know, the two AFCON watch-alongs I've done, you know, they've been two of my most recently highest viewed content. So, yeah, big up everyone. South Africa as well. And everybody's been involved. But, you know, it was quite crazy where you look at, just because I mentioned AFCON, I'm going off topic, but, you know, Osimhen scored or what he thought was a goal and it's 2-0 and South Africa are out of it. And then there's a penalty and it's 1-1 and it's crazy. What a tournament AFCON has been. Make sure you're checking that out, people. We will be doing a watch along for the final on Sunday, as well as West Ham versus Arsenal. So make sure, you know, you've got your notification bells on. The Premier League have hit back at Arsenal and Liverpool over their complaints about VAR this season, but acknowledge that the process needs improving. Both teams have controversially released statements this season criticizing VAR following decisions that did not go their way. Apparently, the chief of football at the Premier League, Tony Scholes, said, "It doesn't help when they have to go public with a statement when we are talking regularly. We consult with managers already and have 2 meetings a year and a squad visit." Okay, So what, you want them to keep your valiance hush hush? That doesn't make sense to me. If you're talking on a regular basis and both clubs think nothing is being done, of course they're going to go public and try and put pressure on you to get things done. You know, it seems like, you know, VAR, referees and the Premier League seem to think they're above criticism. Managers, players, fans even, you know, generally the comments on the league and things like that, people get criticized. Football is about praise and criticism. In the same way, I think if they went, you know, in an ideal world, if, you know, the correct decisions that Arsenal and Liverpool felt went their way, I'm sure they would release statements praising you. Wouldn't tell them to shut up about it. So there's issues there. So yeah, he said it needs improving. They vowed, or him on behalf of the Premier League has vowed to speed up checkup times, as well as semi-automated offsides. And apparently 2 key areas the Premier League want to improve are the time it is taking for refs to make a decision after VAR intervention and in-stadium experience for fans. And again, well, then it's how it's implemented, because, you know, you're expecting these. I don't think, to be fair, I think you can't have it both ways. We can't complain about the time taken. And if the right decision is made, the right decision's made. But things take time. I think, you know, there's a lot going on for a referee in their defense. Not that I'm defending them. There's a lot going on. There's high pressure environments. And obviously claiming it's a split second decision is a bit of a lie, but you're making it in a split decision. And then how many times do we see them come out with, you know, how they draw lines and all of these things and different images and whatnot? So it's a lot for a referee to really make a decision in, for want of a better phrase, a split decision. So I don't think Arsenal, Liverpool, anyone who complains has anything wrong, because the decisions have been scandalous, especially that Newcastle game. You know, how many decisions went against Arsenal and we didn't make statements? And I'm sure Liverpool the same, really, really and truly. And again, we all, it feels like such a long time ago, but we remember the Liverpool Spurs game. So I think that's complete nonsense. Anyone want Lautaro Martinez? It seems like Arsenal links have kind of gone quiet owing to, it looks like he's close to extending his deal at Inter Milan. He was a player that was once consistently linked with Arsenal, and right now it's all Ivan Toney or Osimhen. But, you know, if there is a deal to be done with Lautaro Martinez, why not? It seems like he'll get to an agreement over a new contract. He said it, his agent said it. But at this moment in time, he's demanding a salary of 10 million euros a year, people, to extend his contract, while Inter Milan have offered 8 million euros plus add-ons. So they will probably get towards an agreement. You know, obviously as a player, you want a bit more. Naturally, as a business or as a football club, you want to offer a bit less. He's contracted until 2026. He's valued at 150 million euros, and I'm sure they won't want to depart with him on the cheap. At this moment, he might even cost more than Osimhen, people. Cedric, you know, he's pulled off a blinder. You know, this Arsenal rebuild back in the Champions League, he has managed to outlast Granit Xhaka, Kieran Tierney, Aubameyang, Nicolas Pepe, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, even Ramsdale, really and truly at this moment in time. And it look, even Thomas Partey, and it won't go anywhere anytime soon. Apparently the Turkish transfer window is still open. Cedric was one that was aggressively linked with a move away in January. It never happened. He's set to stay at Arsenal until the end of the season, people. Absolutely crazy, people. We heard Villarreal. We heard, you know, every day there was a new Spanish club. It didn't happen for him, people. Besiktas, Trabzonspor, Galatasaray. He was actually linked with Fenerbahce as well as Villarreal in Spain. Hasn't happened, people. According to the Evening Standard, he's not leaving. He's set to remain until this contract expires in the summer. I mean, we've been knowing that, people, and he's just happy to be here. And at this moment in time, hope Arsenal learn from these mistakes of putting mediocre players on big wages. There's a lot of time and effort towards moving them on. Jonathan Tah apparently has been linked with Arsenal, and again, this article is just leveraging the fact that obviously Xhaka is a former Gooner. He's at Leverkusen, and you know, Tah's contract is actually running down, I believe, people, really and truly. I think he's contracted for another year. Well, sorry, till 2025, and you know, Leverkusen faced the prospect of maybe selling him. Frimpong, there's definitely another one. Boniface could leave. You know, their manager, Xavi Alonso, their players are in high regards, people. I mean, Jonathan Tah in the squad. I mean, you're not going to dislodge Saliba or Gabriel, but, you know, for the squad, why not, really? I'm sure you can play fullback as well. So we'll have to see. He's also been linked with Liverpool, but, you know, you have to probably take Liverpool links with a pinch of salt because we don't know who is going to be their manager. Kirill managed to stay during January, but that hasn't stopped him continuously being linked with Italian clubs. Apparently, he's a target for Italian clubs in the summer. AC Milan, Roma, Napoli have all been linked, and you know, he's had a good couple cameos against Liverpool now. You know, last season he did well when the season was kind of decided already for us towards the end of the campaign, but he's been indifferent for the large part of his season. And I like Kirill, really, but if the club say, you know what, it's not what we've expected, he's getting interest from Italy. If we can make a tiny profit or break even, then it is what it is. Apparently, AC Milan and other Italian clubs are expected to revive their interest in Kyrgios in the summer to see if Arsenal could be tempted into selling or loaning out the Poland international. Loans could do things for you, but I'd imagine for me, you know, where we want our squad to go, we kind of want less players in the halfway house. We've been here with Nicolas Pepe when he went on loan, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Cedric even, Kieran Tierney, currently Lokonga, Tavares. Surely, you know, there is every logic him going out on loan, playing football, developing, coming back a bit more rounded at Arsenal, but surely you just bite the bullet if that's the case, sell him and keep it moving. Sevilla, as we know, tried to get him last summer. Arsenal shut that down. So yeah, it is what it is. Apparently, Arsenal are still being linked with the teenager at Ajax, Jorel Hato. Apparently, Arsenal are themselves looking at possible defensive reinforcements and are interested in Ajax teenager Hato, who, like Kyrgios, can operate at left back and centre back. So, you know, if we could tell Kyrgios, bring him in and he kind of pays for himself, why not? Really and truly. Apparently, Kyrgios said, it's true, it was a challenge for me at the start, but I wanted to take that challenge because I wanted to play for a big club like this. I'm very happy here. Big up, Kyrgios. We're all rooting for you, like with everyone. Once again, Cedric Suarez is expected to stay. We've already gone through this. You know, I don't want to start crying, so we won't waffle on that. Arsenal have once again been linked with Pedro Neto, who every week, you know, he's showing why we should sign. He can play on the left, can play on the right, can play as a false nine. Someone historically linked with Arsenal as well. And for me, would give us another dimension. Now, I think we need a winger and a striker amongst a couple of central midfielders and maybe one more defensive reinforcement and keep, you know, probably look for a backup keeper if Ramsdale goes. The only thing I could say about Pedro Neto is probably the injuries, but I think the club might just say, you know what, you bring in Osimhen and Martinez and Ivan Toney up front. Jesus' injuries is one thing, but Jesus could play out wide. I'm starting to believe we don't sign a striker and a forward, but would love both. Arsenal are tipped to relaunch their efforts to sign Pedro Neto from Wolves over the summer, allegedly, people. Which would be great. Apparently, he would cost 60 million and he's got a contract until 2027. I mean, 60 million quid for a 23-year-old. The only thing you can knock with him is his injuries. I'm all for it. We definitely have spent a lot worse, especially if we could get some players gone. Like, obviously, we can't sell all the homegrown players because we need to register them. But if Eddie Nketiah, Emil Smith-Rowe potentially, not that I want him to go, Reece Nelson, you know, obviously he's not homegrown, but Kieran Tierney, Tavares, Lokonga, if these lot could be sold and bringing in a decent fee, then to a degree we could be a bit more adventurous. But, you know, he's in form. He's one of the key players for Wolves. He's contracted until 2027. You'd imagine Arsenal wouldn't be the only club. He's got Mendes there. You can make a case of Pedro Neto going to Barcelona with a bit of the Portuguese revolution they've got going on. Manchester City have been linked with him. Liverpool have been linked with him. Arsenal have been linked with him. United have been linked with him. You know, so who knows? He's got 11 goal contributions, people, so far, with 3 goals and 8 assists to his name. And his assist tally is only bettered by Kieran Trippier and Ollie Watkins in the league. And at 23 years of age, he'd be. I like Pedro Neto a lot. This isn't really for us, but Timber has admitted he's been left frustrated over his lack of playing time since he's moved to the Emirates. Now, that would be a more amicable talking point if it was because he wasn't playing. The man's been injured, so he's not playing. It's kind of by default. Big him up, man. You know, 76 minutes against City was quality. The minute he came off, Tini looked mad. And kind of got ripped. Obviously, unfortunately, feels like so long ago, but 50 minutes into his Premier League debut and his first official game for Arsenal like that, injured. Well, sorry, people. A bottle there, but we could no do-overs. Apologies. So yeah, we know why Timber's frustrated, but hopefully this is just a frustrating cloud in a long sunny future at Arsenal Football Club. So we'll move away from that. Arsenal reportedly consider rivaling fellow Premier League side Chelsea for the signing of Victor Osimhen. Osimhen, who could become, you know, part of Nigeria's team, who become the Kings of Africa based on the Africa Cup of Nations. We hear this all the time. Who wouldn't be against signing Osimhen? It's going to cost 100 million quid. The Marquinhos signing didn't work out at Arsenal. Romano has tweeted, Fluminense have agreed on a loan deal to sign Marquinhos from Arsenal. Verbal pack in place to be completed in the coming days. So it needs to, you know, that's a verbal agreement. In business, that's dangerous. I's need to be dotted, T's need to be crossed, legal agreements need to be agreed. Marquinhos allegedly is already accepted and he's just waiting on formal steps. The deal is to include a buy clause. Now, why is there a buy clause? Maybe because we're not convinced on him. Hopefully we can make our 3 million quid back. And I don't know for Marquinhos. I mean, he didn't look good from the start. We knew it wouldn't work out. Hopefully he could show his quality in Brazil and maybe have an Arsenal future and prove me wrong and you lot who don't believe in him. But it didn't bang. You know, again, he's a young man. He moved to England for 6 months. Then he went to Norwich, which is another place away from London where, he probably not isolated, but you're moving around a lot. Then he went to France. Maybe he reckons he left Brazil too early, or he just welcomes a return back home. I don't rate Marquinhos, but if we can make a profit on the 3 million, put on a sell-on clause, provided he performs to the level that this team buys him in Fluminense, who he's been linked with Corinthians, great. He started okay at Nantes and then didn't do nothing. He started very good at Norwich and then didn't do anything. And yeah, at times he's looked like if I'm honest with you, I'm sure compared to me, you're a great player. Like, you're a Brazilian, you got skills and all of that. But in line with your fellow professionals and at Arsenal and the rare opportunities I saw of you, I've been more impressed with you when you played for the academy side. But in the first team, you literally look like, you've won like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. You won a golden ticket to play for Arsenal. So he's a myth. Now, I don't know too much on Mr. Semih. No way I can pronounce his name, people, but apologies. Semih Kilicsoy. I think he's played 19 times for the Turkish side Besiktas. I think he's even played in the Conference League, or the Conference League qualifies, decent technical level, been linked with Spurs and Aston Villa. It makes sense in line with the project that we're looking at potential stars of tomorrow. And it seems like Turkey, I think Argentina is always going to be known for football, but Argentina got some stars coming up. Norway's got some stars. And, Arda Güler is probably the poster boy for the Turkish football fans of the future. But, Turkey got a decent 1-2 players coming on the scene. So I want Arsenal to find the best players wherever they are. Apparently, Arsenal are one of the European clubs tracking Besiktas wonder-kid Semih Kilicsoy ahead of the summer transfer window, according to Turkish publication Sabah. The 18-year-old forward has had a fantastic breakthrough season with the Turkish giants, scoring 8 goals and providing 1 assist from 19 appearances across all comps. In January, we should have tried to swap Cedric there, innit, if they were dumb enough to fall for that. Out of that tally, 7 goals and 1 assist have come in his last 7 games, so he's hit a purple patch. And there are no surprises, he's on the radar of several elite European teams. Apparently, this article's gone on to say, as I said before, Borussia Dortmund, Aston Villa, Atletico Madrid, Juventus, as well as Arsenal, and probably a whole bunch of clubs that haven't been name dropped there have all been interested. And yeah, he's able to play as a striker, left wing, right wing. I think he even could play in the 10, really. Allegedly, he's said to have impressed with his long-range shooting this term with 2 goals from outside the box. He's also caught the eye with his dribbling skills, but still needs to improve his link-up play. And apparently, he'll cost 25 million euros. So it won't, probably it's one where you're developing him more on a long-term thing. I did cover this in the last live stream, people, or better yet, video. But in case you never saw that, go and check that out. Thomas Frank has weighed in on Ivan Toney, and he said it's quite obvious that Ivan Toney will most likely be sold in the summer. It can be expensive to sell your best player. But on the other hand, I also know that by summer, he'll only have a year left on his contract with us. We also know what he's worth. I don't think there are many strikers in the world who are better than him right now. He's a really good striker who is in his prime footballing age. Personally, as a coach, I'd prefer to keep Toney, but one day it would be fun to see him at a top team this winter. We actually had no bids for him, but I'd be surprised if there aren't a lot of teams interested in him. There you have it. And Arsenal have been linked with Kylian Mbappe. I'm not even going to give time to that. Would love Kylian Mbappe, but I'm sure a lot of you know that that's not happening. But in the last few days, allegedly, Miguel Delaney of The Independent has said Real Madrid's offer to Kylian Mbappe so far hasn't been to the satisfaction of the player or his entourage. Potential switches to Liverpool, Arsenal have been explored, but neither wants to break their wage structure to go for him. So make of that what you will, people. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on what, the Premier League have to say about Arsenal and Liverpool. Let me know your thoughts on potentially signing Kylian Mbappe, Lautaro Martinez, Ivan Toney, and anything else. What do you guys even believe we need in the summer? Would you lot take Pedro Neto? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, I hope you and your loved ones are in great health. Stay safe, stay blessed. Check out the rest of the content. Turn on your notification bells. Peace.
There's always just that active red line defending. I think it's like